So guys, this is my weekly report for January 30th. As you can see, I'm not on the water. I was on the water and I had some engine problems back here, with my Yamaha. And so I didn't get to do the report. But anyway, I was up at Berryessa this last Friday. Um, Denise bought the old Duckworth that I was using, and we took it up there and looked around, and we graphed it around. Didn't see a whole lot of bait, but we saw a lot of birds, so we started grafting around. Saw a few here and there, so we started mooching, with the gets it for the landlocked kings, and it was kind of slow. So I picked up a spoon rod, and we were drifting around with the gets it's out in the rod holder, and we were spooning, and we had, I think, 4 hits. Um, Caught one 22-inch trout. Hooked 3 more. I think they were kings. They felt like it, and they came off, because we were jigging with the other rod. And then by the time we saw it, just pulling around, we ended up. The bite was real slow. But anyway, we went and switched over and put spoons on and went spooning for bass, and they were in about 35 to 45 feet of water. We caught quite a few. Denise had one over 5 and lost one, big one. She fought it for a long time and it broke her off, but she probably had a solid 16-pound, maybe 17-pound limit, and they were mixed between largemouth and spotted bass. So the bass bite was actually pretty good. If I was in a bass boat and we were up there with my forward facing around the marina, I think we would have did pretty good. Then this last Tuesday, we went out to Liberty to try for stripers. The water's clearing up, but it's just really cold. It's 48 degrees. Um, the highest it got was 50 degrees. My motor was acting up on the way back, so we only put 3 stripers in the boat and 1 bass. But I think Warren he caught a 3-pound bass. He lost another one at the boat around 3. And then Denise lost about a 6-7 pound striper at the boat, and they probably lost 2 or 3 more other stripers, while we're out there casting swim baits in the flats. But it's not wide open. But the day before, Tim, a friend of mine, was in one boat and John was in another boat. They both caught like 15 fish, and they had, stripers up to 8 pounds. So I was like a day late. I was fishing in the same area that they were in, but I didn't catch anything there. I had to go over to the do breaks over there off the shag, and I caught them in there. But it was a little bit tough. So, the water temperature was 48 degrees. It only got up to 50, so it's still a little bit cold. It needs to get in that 54 degree, right around in there, and then all heck will break loose. Rick with Blade Runner has been catching them in the port of Sacramento. So, if you guys are a member, you should go in there, and it's been better in the afternoons till dark. And he's been catching a lot of them spooning and also throwing fish traps, 5-inch swim baits. So anyway, that's what I did this week. And, I didn't shoot the video on the water. So, I'm here on my side of my house. And, Dungeness crab season's still open. It's going to stay open until June. There's no depth range. You can go fish wherever you want. There's no Dungeness crab fishing in San Francisco Bay. You got to go outside the gate, or you have to head over to Bodega or something. So one of the other things mentioned, forgot to mention, is that the striper bite up north to over there off the McCollum. I was up there last week throwing A-rigs and I was catching them. So you could always go there. So other than that, the ocean fishing's kind of quiet. I think it's been kind of rough, and people just haven't been getting out. I haven't been hearing anything. Haven't heard anything about, in the bay. Guys, I'm sure there's some stripers, and I'm sure you can catch some halibut, but haven't heard too much people talking about that. Sturgeon season, it's here. I know Jay Lopes, Richie Acosta, Steve Mitchell, those guys are booking trips. I know Jay probably won't start till February 1st, but I know the other guys are doing it. And, they're in the Pittsburgh area, and they're using roe mainly, and eel and shrimp. But you know, this is the time of year when you get the high water coming in, the releasing water. Sac River gets a little muddy. It's clearing up now though, and they catch a lot of them off the bank. So you guys that are fishing off the bank over there from Hood to Merritt Island, that's some of the better areas. I don't think you have to check the regs for going up north, up by Knight's Landing. I don't know if it's open. You have to check the regulations. You still need a report card, and you can't keep any. So, you know, you can take a picture of them. You're not supposed to pull them out of the water if they're oversized. But, you know, check the regulations before you go and make sure you have that report card. And fill them out, guys, because that's how they get their info. And that's why the season is like it is now, because a lot of people weren't turning in their report cards. They don't think there's any sturgeon around. But if you talk to the guides, and they'll tell you differently, they're out there on the water in certain time of the year, like a couple months ago, Jay and them were catching 20 fish a day. And, you know, now it's probably more like 5 to 10, but that's still a lot of fish. So anyway, fill in report cards and send them in. The striper fishing, the Sac River is starting to clear up. Where I'm at up north, I could see down 2 feet. I heard in Sherman you could see down probably a couple of feet, I imagine now 20 inches. But on the river, you might only see down a foot. You know, when you get into these flooded islands, you know, they got all the grass in there and it filters the water out, so it clears up a little bit faster. It's still cold. I haven't been out there. If you go out there, you might want to check. I think Sherman Island boat ramp might still be closed, but I would check if you go over there, or launch at Brandon Island. I know I have some friends that are fishing. They've been fishing bait for the last 3 weeks off of the San Joaquin side. So you launch at Brandon, go out 3 miles to San Joaquin River, and they're heading both directions, and they're catching them on mudsuckers and shad and sardines. But the water over there, you can only see down about a foot, but I imagine now you can see down a couple feet. So it's still cold, and you can probably still catch a lot of them on bait. Where I'm doing it, you know, I'm throwing lures. So I'm throwing, you know, the 5-inch swim bait, and I'm in 2 to 5 feet of water. I know John and them guys the other day told me the water got 52 degrees, and they were catching them, you know, like in the afternoon it was better. But yesterday I stayed out there till 4 o'clock, and the water never get higher than 50 degrees. So either this rain coming through this next week, if it's a little bit warmer, it'll fire things up. But we keep getting these cold nights in that 32 to 35 degrees. It's going to still be cold. So other than that, I'm sure that when the water starts clearing up and gets in that 54 degrees, the troller guys will start getting out there. And, you know, when those guys start getting them, I'll let you know. Bass in the Delta, it's cool. The water temperature is really cold, but, you know, they got tournaments going on, and they're catching over 20 pounds to win them. So, you know, they got their spots. They might be going south. Who knows? I think if I went and actually targeted them, it might be an all-day thing to get a limit, but I think I would have some decent weight. You know, I think that 14 to 20-pound bag is doable, but it's not where you could go out and slaughter them. So the ones we've been catching have been on swim baits and chatter baits. So other than that, the bass fishing in lakes, Oroville's been really good. You know, Lucas, the little 12-year-old that I'm helping, he's been up there with his forward facing. He goes up to where the water blows in. He's throwing these Blade Runner. Rick designed this new head so you can see it on the forward facing a lot better. And a couple weeks ago, he had 18-pound limit, but I think now it's dwindling down a little bit. He's probably catching like 14-pound limits, but still, that's really good. And Berryessa, like I said, I was up there last Friday, did really well. I know other guys are catching them, and a lot of guys are catching them on jigs this time of the year. I'll still go to the spoon or the flutter spoon when I'm up there, and when I find them, I get on a pack. I can yank them in real quick. And Folsom, I know a friend of mine's been up there throwing A-rigs and catching them. Paganelli's been up there, and Berryessa, you know, with all these decontaminating where you have to get your boat clean before they let you launch. It's been making it a little bit difficult for these guides, because if a guy like Don goes to Berryessa, he leaves the lake, they tag it with a green tag, he goes to Folsom, rips that tag off, he can't go back to Berryessa until he has his boat decontaminated again. So it's kind of tough for these guys. Um, so basically, you got almost have to have two boats. So until the water districts get this thing figured out, it's been a little bit difficult for these guys. So just got to deal with it until they fix the problem. So other than that, landlocked kings, I know they're catching a few at Berryessa. I see guys trolling out there. I know they're still catching them at Folsom. Folsom's rising, so it should be good. A friend of mine was up there actually today, and he told me he's grafting a lot of bait balls, and but he didn't tell me whether he was catching anything. I know this guy's been going up to Orville, doing really good on the kings. So you could probably catch them, start catching them here real quick. Trout, because of the mussel thing. Like, I know Party's closed, Camanche's closed, Collins is open, Folsom's open, Berryessa if you get your boat decontaminated. If you want to, I know if you want to go to catch kokanee, you could go to Buller's Bar. They're doing good there. But getting back to the trout fishing at Camanche, they're not allowing any boats, but they're still stocking the trout. So if you're fishing off the bank, you could go to the South Pond. I heard they're catching some big ones in there. And even in the lake, they're still planting the lake heavily. So you could go, North Shore, South Shore. I would give them a call first, ask them when they planted, and, head up there. If they do a plant a couple days ahead of time, I would get up there and go fishing. Call the lakes and make sure they're open before you can launch your boat. Otherwise, you're going to be driving up there and they're going to turn you away and you can't launch your boat. Crappie fishing. This is the time of year I usually go to Berryessa. Just haven't been up there. I was there the other day, but we didn't have time. But I would definitely go around the marina and check in there, because those fish will move in there right now. A lot of the bait balls and bait fish will hover around underneath those boat docks in 30 to 60 feet of water. And I'm pretty sure that I can go there and catch them. The Delta has been a hit and miss on the crappie. A couple months ago I was slamming them there, just haven't been targeting them. I've been, going after more of the stripers. But friends of mine have been catching them. They've been catching some pretty decent ones too. And, they're getting them in 10 to 15 feet of water. Steelhead. After the salmon run comes up, we're done with them for a while. We couldn't fish for them, but the salmon still came up. The steelhead will follow them, and American River has been putting out some fish. Kyler Perry over at Fisherman's Warehouse, he's been catching them, and Austin Wilson's been catching them. Actually, Austin invited me to go out this Saturday, but I can't because of family issues. Still kind of helping out with my mom, so it's been keeping me off the water. So anyway, don't forget the blind squirrel. They're doing the channel. He's going to start going out again here pretty quick, and he reports, and he's starting to show more how he's doing it, and he can catch the fish. So check him out. And you guys need any boats or fish finder repair or boat repair, go see Gone Fishing Marine. Ask for Mark, tell him I sent you. They're going to put me in another Duckworth, and I should be getting it here in February. And this one's going to have the offshore bracket in the back and a kicker motor on it, and then the trolling motor on the front. And that'll be up for sale next year. So, if you're looking for a 20-foot Duckworth, I'll have it. Every Saturday, California Sportsman's on SEP Show. I'm in the studio every Saturday, first of the month. If not, I call in and give the report. It's on 1140 on the AM dial, and I'm on at 6:40 AM on Saturday morning. So if anything going on or I hear anything new, I always talk about it on the radio with them. If you like my channel, hit that like. Please subscribe. If you want to leave me a comment, I'll get back to you within a couple days. So, and I'm also starting up doing more as the weather permits, my electronic consulting on the water. You could go to info at Allenthong Outdoors and it'll tell you everything that I offer. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.